Hello friends, now let us take up the concept number 11, local inner classes. Already I have explained all the inner classes can be classified into 4 groups. First one is instance inner classes, simply we call them as inner classes. The second one is static inner classes. For the sake of identification, easy identification, we call them as nested classes. Now, the third one is local inner classes, and the fourth one is anonymous classes, anonymous local inner classes you can call them for the sake of recalling it very easily. So, inner classes, nested classes, local inner classes, anonymous local inner classes. This is the way you can remember. Now, first I will show you its structure through this example. Now, this is a class A, B, C. In this, one method I have defined. This is void demo method. In this demo method, one local variable is there, and here one local inner class I have defined. That is why named a local inner. This is called local inner class, means always remember that its status is like a local variable of a method. Okay, but it is a class. It is a class defined within the body of a method. That point always you remember. Now, I explain the special features of the local inner class, simply local class or local inner class. So, first you must remember that it is a local inner class is defined within the body of a method. Its status is a local variable of the method. First point you have to remember. Second one, its scope. Its scope means when it bonds, when it dies, that you have to understand. Actually, you know that the scope of a method, whenever a method is called, it gets life, it bonds. Whenever it returns, the method dies. So, the same principle is applicable to that, and here demo method is there. Whenever the method is called, then it is the code in this is activated, then the class gets the birth. Whenever the method returns, it dies. That span is the scope. In this case, you may get a doubt, it is void, there is no return statement. If the method does not have return statement also, this the closing brace represents the return of the method. So, whenever it is executed, it dies. So, within the scope only the local inner class survives. That point always you remember, and that point, and we can create objects. We can create objects. When we can create objects within the scope, if you want, you can create objects for the local inner class. If you want, you can return them also. You can return the object through the method, through the return statement of the method. And one more point, a local inner class can extend another class, and it may implements one or more interfaces. Once again you remember, local inner class is also like any other class. Okay, that is why it can extend any other class, or it can implements uh, one or more interfaces. That point you must remember. And as far as accessibility is concerned, local inner class can can access the fields and methods of the enclosing class. Enclosing class, that point you have to remember. And one more thing, some limitations are there for that. And for local inner class, you should not use any access modifiers. That means you should not use either public, private or protected. And number 2 is it should not be static. Local inner class should not be declared as a static, and you should not have static members. That means local inner class should not have static fields or methods. That point also you must remember. And here one peculiar feature is there. Local inner class can access the members of the outer class ABC, but it is not allowed to access the local variables of this. It looks somewhat peculiar, but it is a fact. You must remember that, because why it is done, why local inner class is not allowed to access local variables. Actually, behind the scenes, local inner class is created as a separate class, top level class by the compiler. Obviously, if it is an outside class, how can he access the local variables of a method? That is the reason behind it. Do not think much, but just remember that local inner class can access the fields and methods of the enclosing class, but it is not allowed to access the local variables of the method. These points, as far as local inner class is concerned, you must remember. And once again I am telling you, on need base, whenever you are applying that, you can understand these points practically. That is why it is very difficult for us to find out an example for this. That is why simple code I have given. So, you remember all these points. Once again I repeat it. The first thing is, a local inner class is defined within the body of a method. Body of a method. Number 2, it is having a scope. What is the scope? Related to method only. Whenever a method is called, it gets life, and whenever the method is returned, the method returns, it dies. So, within the scope of the method only, the local inner class may create objects, and the objects may be returned, and the local inner class may extend other class or may implement one or more interfaces. That you have to understand. And thereafter no access specifiers like public, private or protected are not applicable to local inner class, and it should not be declared as static also, and it should not have any static members. That means, should not have any static fields or should not have any static methods. That point, these points you must remember, and the main very important point is local inner class is not allowed to access local variables of the method, but it is allowed to access the fields and methods of the enclosing class. These points you remember.